So what's going on, Internet fam? Um, I've been posting videos about BitConnect and watching videos about BitConnect and messing with BitConnect. I'm invested in BitConnect, and I want to be very clear about what my stance is on what's going on here. So there's so many people on the internet saying it's a scam, it's a scam, it's a scam. It has to be a scam. It's a Ponzi scheme. It's all about the referral program, everything else. So let me just clear up exactly what I think. Okay, first of all, it does seem too good to be true. Honestly, just on the face of it, with human rationality, when you look at it and think about it, you think, wow, how could somebody turn, 10 grand into $1 million in like, a year and a half or whatever, right? Those are huge gains. And that wouldn't make sense in almost any other traditional investing platform. And because of that, people are assuming that it has to be a scam. However, um, the whole premise of BitConnect is that they are using a Bitcoin trading bot to turn your daily amount of Bitcoin into 1% more Bitcoin than at the beginning of the day. And as somebody who myself has been day trading a lot of cryptocurrencies, and am not a bot, I'm a person, I can definitely say that 1% gains on day trading cryptocurrencies is definitely a possibility. Actually, on a good day, I can do a great deal more than that. Um, but it's quite a bit of work, and there's risk involved, and as many gains as I've had, I've also had some losses. I mean, if you want to get into day trading anything, or night trading, as the case may be, for some of us, that's the great thing about cryptocurrencies is you can do it at night. Um, so you can still have your day job and crypto trade all night, and then go back to your day job and potentially double your earnings, or quintuple them, or more, um, or less, or lose it all. I mean, you are somewhat gambling. That's how day trading works. However, if you stay informed and get it in, and really study the market, there are opportunities to make big gains, and that come along. And if you know what to look for and know how to buy low and sell high, you can make money that way. Now, I've been researching bots that do the trading for you, and 1% daily return is pretty much the average uh, selling feature. Plus or minus, averaged over time, etc. Right? So, to me, it doesn't seem that unlikely that BitConnect, this platform with now millions of dollars invested in it, has a bot that is capable of returning 1% daily interest on average. Now, some days are less than that. Some days are 0.2%, some days are 2%. And so there's a pretty big spread. Now, I have to agree about the referral program. I don't even like that there is a referral program, but they're trying to get the word of mouth out there, because the more people invest in the platform, the more money they can make. If everybody else is making 1%, that whoever's running the show and owns the company is probably getting more than that, is my guess. Is it a scam? I have no idea. It could be. It could be that these people are intent on uh, taking everyone's money and running with it. But for me, the metrics of 1% daily gains in the crypto market, by a bot, is not unheard of, even unlikely. In fact, it's completely realistic and likely. So as long as that volatility in the crypto market continues, which is, how the bot makes its money is on the volatility. If there's a lot of volatility that day, the bot tends to make a higher percentage than it does on days when there isn't much volatility in the market. So, um, is it real? Is it actually going to happen? Are people going to get their payouts? Apparently, some people have got their payouts already, and apparently, you know, that I can tell you that I've gotten interest in my lending wallet that I could change to BitConnect and then turn back into Bitcoin. That's the thing about this whole system, is they've got two or three ways of driving growth, and I believe that all of them are possible, and I think they're probably successfully doing all three of them as a company. Now, I'm sure there's days that are up and days that are down as far as what the percentages are that they're actually making as a company. I'd be fascinated to look at their books. I'm sure anybody in this space would be. But do I believe a bot can make 1% gains per day trading cryptocurrencies? Absolutely. I completely believe that. I mean, I've made way more than that on some days. If I averaged out all my days, I'm probably averaging about 5%, maybe. I don't know. I haven't kept, it's the way the market moves, it's so fast, it's kind of hard to keep really good track on that sort of thing. But I've definitely made some low purchases, held for a long time, sold them at, 300% of what I paid for them, and then watched the market crash and then bought back in at half price. I mean, I've done this on a bunch of currencies. I did it on Bitcoin. Initially, that's all I did is just Bitcoin. And I've done that on Bitcoin several times, and made some very real gains on Bitcoin alone. I've done it definitely with Ethereum. I've done it with Litecoin. I've done it with Dash. I've done that with a ton of little cryptocurrencies, just altcoins and stuff, just for fun to mess around. I mean, I'll put $20 on something that that's only worth 3 or 4 satoshis, and I come back in a couple days and it's worth $80, and I'll go ahead and sell $40 worth. So I've doubled my money and still kept the cryptocurrency, potentially doubling my money again or quadrupling my money depending on how I play it. Maybe I stay interested in the coin. Maybe I decide I'm not interested in it. A bunch of different coins have gone different ways on that. So, but when the question is, can BitConnect reliably earn 1% on the cryptocurrency market and pay that as interest to the people who put loans in with them? I think that the answer is yes. It's possible. It's possible that this isn't a scam. And based on the fact that I think it's possible it's not a scam, I am investing and taking a risk in that investment. Now, is that investment riskier than Genesis Mining? Maybe. I don't know. I'm also invested in Genesis Mining. That investment also makes sense to me. Again, that's another one that's a little bit riskier than some of my other investments, right? But that's the thing. My number one investment advice, right? I don't give investment advice, but if I did, my number one thing would be diversify. And when I say diversify, I mean in the riskiness of the investment and the type of investment and the length of term of the investment. I mean, some should be short-term investments, some should be medium-term, some should be long-term, some should be very risky, some should be not risky, and you should be diversifying across that whole spectrum, and everybody should be doing it with $1, $2, I mean, 10 cents, whatever you got, invest something in different ways and try to make that wealth work for you. It's insane to me that I went through, 20 years of school and I never had one class on any of this stuff. I took, I learned how to conjugate a sentence, how to diagram a sentence, you know what I mean? I learned all kinds of baloney about biology and history. I mean, most of it provably false once you get an internet connection and know how to Google a little bit, And so, yeah, is BitConnect a scam? I don't know. You don't know either. So stop saying you know. Unless you actually work for them, you don't know. And even if you do work for them, there's a good chance that you honestly believe one thing and it might be the other. Some of them who work there might honestly believe it's a scam and it might not be. Some of them who work there might honestly believe it's not a scam and it is. I don't know, but I do believe it's possibly not a scam. It's not too good to be true because I do think a cryptocurrency trading bot can return 1% interest a day. I believe that is factually accurate. Is their bot returning 1% a day? Not exactly. They tell you what it returns a day. Some days it's 0.8, some days it's 0.08. I mean, there's been some very poor days as far as returns on BitConnect. And then there's been some amazing days where it's gotten like 2%, or 1.8% or whatever. It's possible, So, I mean, you got to kind of make that decision yourself. If you think that if you've got $10,000 laying around and you want to see if you can turn it into 500 grand in a year or whatever, which is part of the BitConnect promise if you're doing the compound interest thing and reinvesting every single day, it's entirely possible that investment will pay out. So I'm invested in that myself and taking that risk with a small portion of my portfolio, I'd say at this point, BitConnect is less than 10% of my overall investment strategy. Probably maybe around 5% or less. I mean, if you count the fact that I have a mortgage and, I own cars and, things like this, then, it's definitely less than 5%. So, so I'm happy to play around and be risky with 5% of my portfolio. In fact, I advise everybody to do that. And if that 5% you want to risk into BitConnect or Genesis Mining or some of these other kind of radical new wealth creation tools that exist that have some fundamental reality behind them, as far as where I'm sitting, understanding how the crypto market works and day trading as I have done for the last couple of years, on and off. I mean, really, I bought low and hodled for a long time and didn't really do a lot of the day trading that I started getting involved in about 4 or 5 months ago. Yeah, so I don't know if BitConnect is a scam. I certainly am not promoting BitConnect because I don't work for them and they don't pay me and I just have no idea. Now, I myself am choosing to invest in BitConnect because I think that it makes sense and it's a possible, recipe for success. In addition to the fact that they're making money on day trading with a bot and playing the volatility of the Bitcoin market to extract 1% gains every day. They also have the BitConnect cryptocurrency, which is a blockchain-based currency, and its value has gone up a lot. So the fact that they're probably holding a lot of BitConnect there at actual BitConnect, the company, means they have probably accumulated a ton of wealth outside of what they've gotten from people investing into the platform and what they've earned themselves from the bot and et cetera, et cetera. My guess is they're sitting on a whole lot of BitConnect, and as that went from, nothing to almost $70 now, uh, if you bought 1,000 BitConnect a year ago or whatever when they were $1, you know what I mean? You'd be sitting on $60,000 now, or $67,000, right? Is that an unrealistic? Is that an unrealistic investment? Or no, that's something that's real. I mean, in the same way. I mean, if you bought 5 cents of Bitcoin in 2008, you could be a millionaire right now. Is that unrealistic? No, that's people actually did that. And I'm one of the idiots who knew about it and didn't do it. So I'm trying to get in now, late to the game, and I'm looking at these other opportunities and I'm saying, hey, I'm going to risk 5% on these huge gains because to me, I already missed one of the boats because I listened to somebody else, which you should never do. Listen to yourself. Be your own advocate. Don't listen to other people. Do what you want to do. Do what you think is a good idea. You know what I mean? If your inner, self, if you've got an intuition that says, man, I don't know, this BitConnect seems like a scam. I feel like Bitcoin's going to go down. You got to listen. You got to listen to the market, look at the market, and then listen to yourself and follow your own intuition about what you think is going to occur. I've been sorry almost every time I didn't listen to my own intuition. I had an intuition about Bitcoin years ago, and I didn't jump in with both feet like I should have then. I was younger, more foolish, more impressionable, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But I've learned a lot since then. Some lessons I've had to learn the hard way, and I have. So here I am now. But yeah, I don't know if it's a scam or not. Nobody does. You don't know that. People who work there probably don't know that. You know what I mean? There's probably somebody there at the company who might know definitively whether it is a scam or not. Whether it's a CEO or whoever. But certainly it seems realistic to me that it is possibly a real thing based on just the numbers that I've looked at. So that's all I can do is go on that, right? And that's true for every investment I've made. Is owning a 1963 Dodge Dart a bad investment? I don't know. I think it's a great car. I think it's worth as much as I paid for it, and I think I'll be able to sell it for more because it's been a few years and it's a rare car and it's worth more now. I think, I think silver should be worth more than $16 an ounce, because due to the ratio of silver to gold on the face of the earth, et cetera, et cetera. I mean, some of these things are, maybe more obvious or less obvious than others, but I mean, there's a ton of great investments out there. It doesn't have to be cryptocurrency. It doesn't have to be cash or stocks or whatever. You know, go buy something that you think has more value than what its price is right now today. And especially if you think that it's going to accrue value over time. You know, if it's some kind of, you know, antique or classic car, etc. Right? 50 years, somebody might pay you double for it. That's a slow, safe investment. That should also be part of your 5% of your portfolio, right? And in between that crazy 5% and the slow, steady 5%, there should be all different kinds of stuff. The other 90% should be stuff that's in the middle of the road, you know? Buying and holding regular cryptocurrencies, buying and holding regular stocks, you know, investing in your 401k, mutual funds, whatever, you know, something more middle of the road. I think everybody should be doing that. I personally have very little faith in the stock market, in Wall Street, in the American government, in Federal Reserve notes, in the Yuan. It's crazy. I heard an article or news thing the other day. Somebody was talking about, oh, the dollar's inflated, but the yuan looks good according to our metrics. And I was like, you are nuts. You are absolutely nuts. The yuan is worth nothing. It is absolutely. I mean, China has, like, I don't know, some crazy, like, billions of square feet of commercial real estate that are just ghost towns. Brand new, freshly built ghost towns. Their economy is possibly more insane than the American economy at this point. And we are in the biggest bubble of all time. When this one pops, it's going to make 2008 look like a joke. I mean, it's going to make 2008 look like a silly little blip, you know? And we're in it right now. So, you know, if you're holding real estate or anything that's tied to American fiat currency or the yuan, man, get into something else. And honestly, a percentage of your portfolio should be in cryptocurrency. One of them. I don't, you know, do your own research, look into it yourself. Personally, I think everybody should own a little bit of Bitcoin itself. I think everybody should own a little bit of, you know, Litecoin, EOS. There's a bunch of different ones that I think everybody should own a few of. So, yeah. But is BitConnect a scam? How would I know? I don't know. I'm putting 5% of my portfolio into it and risking that 5% and thinking, man, in 2 or 3 years, if I'm sitting on $3 million, that was a scam I was happy to be a part of. And if it isn't a scam and it just works, we're going to be having a whole different conversation then, right? So, all right, Internet fam, you have a good night. And make your own decisions. Don't listen to me. Don't listen to anybody. Make your own decisions. Go with your own gut instinct, because you're going to be your best advocate. That's the hardest lesson that I've learned investing, and that's the one that you should pay the most attention to.